Hi everyone, KFK's Creative Home. Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be making a wreath. I call it the Green Monster Wreath so that I can avoid any kind of trademark infringements. And I was just sharing with you there the mesh I have. It's like it's got a run down the middle. It's missing a line of the threaded mesh. I don't know what you call this. Whatever's threaded foil through the entire roll had that missing line. So, well, let me explain what I'm doing here. This is showing how I have put the pipe cleaners on. I'm doing the same method of one in the center on the inner two rings, two on the outer rings, about 1.5 inches away from the crossbars. And you can see that here on the other side. So back to my mesh, it's defective, I guess you would call it. So I'm using it to make poofs, and then when it's covered with the other mesh, you won't see it. So when you end up with mesh like that, you can always still use it as a bottom supportive layer. So I'm going to start by adding it to my first pipe cleaner, and I have zip tied down the end, the raw edge there. I am doing 10-inch poofs. This is I think it was the 18 feet, yeah, 18-foot roll, 10.5 inches wide. I have 18 pipe cleaners, and so basically I could do 12-inch poofs, but you know, this mesh is never exact. So I'm doing 10-inch poofs all the way around just to make sure I have enough. So I'm going to go all the way around the inner ring, where I have 6 zip ties, and then around the outer ring where I have 12 zip ties, where I have 12 pipe cleaners, not zip ties. So you just measure out 10 inches. I hold it in my hand like that when I pull it out, because I want to make sure the edges stay kind of wrapped under. And I'm using my mat on the table to measure out my 10 inches. So I'm about to get back to where I first started. Initially, I tied it down to the frame, and so I'm just making it back to that first pipe cleaner. So I ended up with some of that mesh I zip tied down fraying, so I went ahead and clipped that. So now I'm going to pull a little piece to come to the outer ring and put it up under that first pipe cleaner. And now I can just work my way. See how I did that? And now I can just work my way around the outer edge. So I'm going to finish that up, and I'll be right back. So here you see I'm adding the mesh into that last pipe cleaner, back up where I started. I have clipped my mesh, and then I'm going to zip tie that end down to the wreath frame. I usually zip tie it down to the second or the two middle bars. If you zip tie it to the outer bar, you could stand a chance of some of that mesh, that raw edge sticking out and being seen. And even here I've put it on that outer one, but I had to turn it to the inside, hoping that my bubbles would be enough to cover it up. But normally I put it to the second or third if I leave enough space. Sometimes it's better to zip tie it first before you clipped it. That's what happened in this one. I clipped it first, and then I couldn't reach over to the second bar. Alright, so now we just shape our bubbles up, pulling them out so they're as poofy as possible, getting as much bang as we can for our buck here. And I'm going to keep filling those out, making sure the outer edges are still tucked under. And then we're going to be ready for the next step. For our next step, I've got this cute mesh, red, white, and green. I am doing rolls on both sides, nice big fat rolls. And then I'm just gathering it in the center. And this mesh is 10 inches wide, and I have cut it into 20-inch strips. So I have used all of the mesh on one roll. I get exactly 18 pieces when you do that. And this is just showing you how I do that again. So I've gotten all of mine ready. You can see them in the baskets behind me. And I've actually got 2 baskets full because I'm going to make another wreath later. Okay, so now I'm just going to come back to my wreath. Everywhere there's a pipe cleaner, I'm going to add in this mesh, and now I'm going to add in 2 ribbon tails. I have this red Believe and that green on top that is pretty much the same as the green in the bottom layer of mesh. And my tails are cut at, this time I did 12 inches and just did a fishtail on the end. Each time I lay in the mesh, I have the red, well, in this photo, the red is to your right, the green end of the mesh is always to my, or your left. And I did it the same way all the way around so that I would just get a mixture of colors. I wouldn't have red clumped together or green clumped together. So for this next one, I'm alternating with 2 ribbons. One has red and white stripes, diagonal stripes, and the other one has the green tree that's bent over at the top. It goes again with that green monster theme. So now all I have to do is alternate back and forth. This is where I always try to make a decision. Am I going to add something else to these pipe cleaners? And I'm like, nope. And so I'm clipping them as I decided to clip them as I go along. So I'm going to be working my way around this wreath, putting in the mesh, the rolled mesh, and the ribbon, alternating the ribbon as I work my way around. I started on the inner ring so that when I go to do the outer ring, it doesn't interfere with the inner. If I did the outer ring first and then I had to reach over into the inner ring, I would probably be mashing a lot of my mesh. Okay, let me keep going here. If you're enjoying the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with others. If you're not a family member, please consider becoming one and hitting the button and ringing the bell so you can be notified when new videos are released. If there's anything you'd like to see me do, let me know in the comments. I'll do my best. If I can help you with that, I will. Coming up in the near future, I'm going to have some more fall decor. I don't know if I'm going to do another fall wreath. I've already done some of those, and you can check in the videos to see those or in my fall playlist. And just thinking here, I know I want to do a fall lantern. I still haven't given up on my lanterns. I love those things and I like the way they look hanging outside. And oh, I know the other thing I'm going to be doing is some jumbo bows. I'm going to be doing those and selling them as kits. They will be available for you to purchase. So if you're interested in that and seeing me make these bows and how I do it, stay tuned. They're coming up soon. So I finished the outer ring and this is what we're looking like so far. And if you notice, I've tried to place my ribbon so that you can always read the words or the trees are in the right direction. Alright, so I'm going to take that same ribbon again and make myself a nice bow. When I went to put this ribbon on my little stand here for the bow maker, I realized if I put the ribbon on that first prong, my words were going to be upside down. I was like, wait a minute, this is all turned around. Couldn't kind of get it straight in my head, so I decided to start with the ribbon on the other side here, and that way even though the words look upside down to you, for me they will be right side up. You can see that one there. Because it wasn't the right direction, I actually twisted the whole loop, the whole entire loop, so that the words would be right side up. And this is the first time I've had to do that with the very first loop, so you can see it didn't want to stay. I guess it didn't have anything to grip onto. So these loops, I'm starting at 6 inches. I didn't want this to be a huge bow. And I'm doing the 6-inch tails too. I'm not going to have long tails. I'm just going to have a nice bow here without a whole lot of drama. I think the wreath itself has a lot of drama. So I started with that red ribbon, and now I'm using the tree ribbon. Again, I'm trying to figure out how do I do this so that the direction is always right. I wanted the tail, I wanted the trees to be standing up, not upside down. Now since that's happened twice with this ribbon, I don't know if they can change how they roll the ribbon onto the spools to make sure that doesn't happen, or if it even matters to most people. I guess most people drop their ribbon on the floor and, pull from there. So it may not matter to them. For me, I was like, oh Lord, it's going the wrong direction. So like I said, I just put it to that side. Some people flip their entire bow maker around so that the ribbon holder is on the the other side, like I have the ribbon. Either way, whatever works for you. Just do what you can to help your bow to be the right direction. If you're the person who can work with it upside down, I don't think I could do that. I think I would get so confused. And then in the end, you just place it on your wreath so that it's the right side up. For the 1.5-inch ribbon I'm adding now, and for the next one, I am now doing it at 5 inches. So the tail and the loops are going to be 5 inches. For each ribbon, I've only given it 2 loops and the 2 tails. And coming up with the last one, I thought this green would be nice and pretty and bright on top. So I'm going to get this one in here. Again, it is 5-inch tails and 5-inch loops. If you have difficulties making a bow, I have an entire series on how to make a bow. You can find that playlist in the description box below. And I hope you enjoy it. I took a whole lot of different materials, made bows, and the camera catches everything. I figured out a way to sit the camera behind me so you actually see what you should be doing. You're not looking, facing me. You're seeing exactly what I see when I make those bows. So check out that series. I hope you enjoy it. So I'm adding in my pipe cleaner and my zip tie as usual, because I did not add it at first. I'm going to put a sign up right in front of my table here so I'll remember to do that. So now I'm taking the zip tie and closing it up. I brought it up and around. So it's nice and loose now. Lifting my bow up off the bow maker. Going to slide my fingers down each side here and start. First I slid the zip tie around to the back, and I'm tightening it a little bit more, not super tight yet. And now I'm going to fluff my bow or shape my bow, pulling each loop where I want it to be, the tails where I want it to be. I like my bows to be completely rounded and not in the bow tie shape. So you can see I'm just pulling things so that some of this bow is not just to the sides, but also at the top and the bottom. So I'm going to finish shaping that up, and we'll be showing you how we attach it to the wreath. Oh, before I do that, I've gotten this shape. You can see how I've got ribbon and loops in every direction. And now I'm taking my zip tie tool. I've placed it on the back of the zip tie, and I've pulled it snug. And in a minute, I'm going to pull it completely tight once I really get everything exactly where I want it. And then I'm going to pull it completely tight and clip that zip tie with the tool. So I mentioned that I have arranged my tails on this wreath so that the words are readable around the entire wreath. I didn't end up with any of them upside down. I was just be careful about how I placed them in the wreath. And now I want to add a bow at about between like 2 and 3 o'clock on the wreath. And so it's on the right hand side. I usually do the left. I don't know why I chose the right this time. Oh, I know why. And I'll mention this to you. For some reason, the poofs underneath the bottom there just did not stand as strong in that area. And so I decided to put the bow there to kind of cover the fact that the wreath was a little bit more sunken in on that side. It's something most people would never notice, something a customer would never notice. I see it because I'm the one creating it. So since it was a little bit lower on that side, I said, let me add the bow here to kind of hide that. Don't really know what happened with the mesh in that area. So I'm adding my bow in. I got to shape it. I got to get it sitting down in it correctly so it's not angled right now. It looks like it's sitting up a little higher on the top than the bottom. And I am now securing it in the back. And now I got to shape it, and I'm going to be clipping my tails in a second, giving them the same fishtail look. And you can see, like I said, it's just a regular bow here without the long tails at the bottom. Didn't add those this time. Alright, so again, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share with others. And if you're not a family member, consider becoming one by hitting the button and ringing the bell so you can be notified when other videos are released. I've got, again, a fall lantern coming, a fall jumbo bow, and then some holiday jumbo bows along with some more holiday wreaths. All right, now I thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll be talking with you again real soon.